Unseen for generations, a Dyad in the Force.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dyad in the Force, episode 96, when we're talking about Andor, episode 6. And what an episode that was.
Goddamn.
We are joined by some new faces, as well as a returning legend of Dyad in the Force. And we'll start with that returning legend. AJ, why don't you introduce yourself, tell people who you are, where they can find you, and
Hey,
open-ended question.
sorry.
If you could write a Star Wars book about any character that does not have a book or have a major appearance in a book, who would it be? And go.
All right. So, first off, I am AJ. I'm Jedi Star Killer pretty much everywhere. Except I always joke, except on Twitter, where I'm one Jedi Star Killer, because apparently there are a lot of other people who are more creative than I am and got there way before I did. As for the answer to your question, let's see here. If I could write a book about someone, you know what? I thought I was going to need a second. I want a book about Max Rebo. I want a behind the scenes documentary book, behind the music. I've always wanted my VH1 behind the music, but I need the book about him and Droopy McCool and all of these guys and just the inner workings of the Tatooine music scene and the galactic jizz scene.
So it's like Almost Famous, but full of jizz.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Would it be
What would
called
make
Max
Almost
Rabuti?
Famous better?
Max Rabuti by who? It had to be Claudia Gray, right?
Oh yeah,
Or
definitely.
Kristen Baver said Rabuti on Twitter. If you're not following AJ Starkiller, you're one Jedi Starkiller now on TikTok.
On Twitter.
On Twitter.
Everywhere
okay.
else, I'm still Jedi_Starkiller.
Gotcha. Follow him on TikTok and Twitter. Next we have Abby. Who are you? Where can people find you? And same question.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Abby. On TikTok, I am My Only Hope. On Instagram, I was also not fast enough, and I misspelled on My Only Hope's name, so I added an E at the end. And then YouTube, it's also My Only Hope, and I just started that a day ago, so there isn't much on there. But
Awesome.
yeah, I mostly make lightsaber transition videos, a lot of cosplays. I made an Ahsoka cosplay. I like DIY. I like anything with lightsabers, really. Yeah, if I could choose a character for a book, maybe either Barriss or That one's hard. Uh, Maybe Varys, just to see what's going on in her head, how she was raised,
This is a good one.
what caused her to turn. She's just interesting to me. See what happened. I think it'll be a lot similar to Anakin's story, maybe. See how it went.
It is a good choice. Also, your saber transitions are elite. And
Thank you.
Was it Comic-Con that you were at? New York Comic-Con, or is it?
Yes.
Because that was a great Ahsoka as well.
Thank you so much. I made her from scratch, so that was really nice to see that people liked her. Yeah, I went to Comic-Con. Me and my friend traveled and made it. We went from Boston to New York, so it was a little bit of a road trip, but it was a lot of fun.
Dang.
It was really worth it.
Nice. And then we have Lyris.
Hello. I'm new here. This is my first time streaming, and I want to say thank you for inviting me on here. And a little forewarning, I am so bad with names, especially Star Wars names. We got like the most gabagool names known to man. I respect it. Shout out to Droopy McCool. He's my boy. I'm Lyris. I'm a cosplayer mainly on TikTok, and my @ kind of hard to spell, but it's CIRICES. You can see my name on there though, so I don't know where to point at. It's somewhere there. Yes. And if I had to do a book character for someone I've seen, I was thinking love her or hate her. Luminara, or like Fennec Shand. They're my girls. They're my
Those
girls.
are both great choices.
Yeah. That's my stuff. Nice to see y'all. Hello, chat.
Yeah, I didn't think Book of Boba Fett didn't do Fennec justice. And
Exactly.
Yeah, so we definitely some more love. And actually, Fennec Shand was the first cosplay I ever saw from you. That's how I found.
I think that was also my first canon Star Wars cosplay, and also like the first cosplay that I spent like not big money on, but usually this is my little behind the scenes thing. Y'all, all of my cosplay is cheap as hell. I don't know if we're allowed to curse on this. Cheap as heck.
Okay.
It's all like thrifted, gabagool. Cheap as hell, yes.
I wouldn't be here.
The...
I wouldn't have been invited back. No.
She was the one thing that I was like, oh, I'm gonna get it before Book of Boba Fett comes out, and it's gonna be like, I'm gonna be on the cutting edge. I'm gonna be my baddie bee, my girl Fennec Shand. So she was the first Star Wars cosplay, and I think that actually got me like a small following. So she was my girl. That's my first one.
I was part of that following. But you specifically said canon. Does that mean you got some Legends cosplay as well? Or are you talking other franchises?
I have a couple in the works. The recent one, if you've seen, was, again, nobody asked for her, but Abeloth, I think, literally once we get into like the spooky side of Star Wars, like non-canon, I'm like, I want to see more of it. I want to see some scary Star Wars, which the episode that we'll be talking about has a bit of like, I think you said in the last one, but you know how they treat the TIE fighters, that's not a supernatural element, but the way they handle it, the way they like carry it out, the gravity of the situation, I want Star Wars to like literally have that gravity regarding these characters that are like, I don't know, like power scaling, because okay, I know we're gonna have the Andor discussion later, but I'm just setting this up for that. How Andor is like these regular people, these regular dudes, but they're taking on these insane challenges, and they're doing this all the way out and like in universe. Abeloth, she's not obviously not canon, sadly, but even considering,
that's
fortunately for everybody, yeah, absolutely. But even like, you couldn't even comprehend the power scale that she is on. All these people, thank God they don't know what's going on out in like unknown space. I just love it. I get so excited thinking about it.
legitimately, there's actually no reason Abeloth should have lost in her own book. That's the weird part. But Star Wars could get spooky. I mean, I feel like you wouldn't be afraid of things as much in Star Wars, though, because if you're Doctor, like this episode, we get introduced to Dr. Quadpaw is his name.
Wow.
And if that's what your Doctor looks like, then like, what does a monster look?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And I want to preface what I'm about to say with, and I say it with the utmost respect. But as beautiful as you are, with the makeup that I've seen from your cosplays, I think you could pull off an Abeloth. And it is like, I'm imagining the makeup now, and it would.
I did one, but I will say,
as horrifying as Abeloth is.
I did.
You want to see how I got these scars?
Exactly. Oh my god, I did like a makeup test for her recently. I posted that on TikTok, but the red like stain. So I did have that like Joker Glasgow smile after I took all the makeup off, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go out like this. But it's like Halloween, so people will think it's just like a little Joker makeup moment. But you gotta be careful with that cosplay makeup, man, especially for like characters like Darth Maul that's full red paint. That will not come off, and you'll look a fool.
Yeah,
you look a fool. But
yeah, so I did a low, so a long time ago, I did a very, very low key like Darth Maul style, because I was going to an A's game. All my friends were painting their faces, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do Darth Maul face and bring a lightsaber with me, because we're rocking the red. And it didn't come off. And then when we went to a Mexican restaurant afterwards, and they looked at me like I was El Diablo. And I don't think it went over super well. But yeah.
Yes,
building on top of what I said, your makeup is very transformative, and I was wondering if your Thrawn, is that purely like contoured, or is that prosthetics?
Please stop me if I have like I do have a little I have ADHD, so if I start going a little too off the rails, just feel free to like rein it back in. But the Throne one, it is so hard. You see me, I don't really have cheekbones. It's mostly like circular, especially like Thrawn's very masculine brow. I don't like, the people who haven't seen it, does not look like this, I'll tell you that. Especially guy characters, it's pretty much all contour. I would love to do some like silicone prosthetics or something. I think that would really snatch it, especially for Thrawn, because he is like, in Rebels he looks like him Woodward away. So that scene was just like, it was just all powder and eyeshadow, because I am like I don't have any.
Wait, so you're saying they were contoured? They're not prosthetics?
Yeah, it's not like modeled or sculpted. It's just like,
I shared
I wish I had an example.
I share AJ's.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah. Like, that's impressive.
It looked like they were popping out.
Yeah, I would have guessed it was like some sort of silicone too. So that's a really great job. Yeah.
I see. Hold on, I just saw the chat. Hi, Persa. Hello.
Yeah, shout out to Persa
Also, I love the name change. Galactic Vampire, formerly Galactic Mermaid. But, always nice to see you around.
Also, shout out to Ray Satellizer. I want to know if you're still in the chat. Have you seen an anime called Freezing, starring a protagonist called Satellizer L. Bridget, which is a name that is awesome to hear in Japanese. Oh, you're still in the chat. Okay, let me know if you've seen that anime.
Yes, it's sus.
So, Choco, what about you?
You know what? At the end of Rise of Skywalker, we see Wicket again. I'm curious what's going on in his little life. Have they made it onto the galactic scene? This is, he was like, oh, this is old hat. Yeah, we've seen it. This stuff before. We were clearly being saved by our golden god C-3PO, which is canon. That's what he was explaining to his little kid. I don't know. I want to spend some time in the trees with Ewoks.
Nice. So,
all right. I was gonna say I got it. What if he's a roadie and he's our POV character in our Max Rebo story?
Love
There
it.
we go.
Love it.
We're bringing the band back together.
Literally.
not exactly a Dyad moment. I'd say Dyad adjacent. We came from the same movie. Mine was Tamiri from The Last Jedi, or same series of movies. I want to see where he is. If you're unfamiliar, is the Broom Boy from The Last Jedi. It's the one where he's like using the broom as a lightsaber at the very end, looking up at the stars, and it would be kind of cool to see how he contends with his force sensitivity and what it's like in that world, and how Rey is going around and if she's going around seeking out force sensitives, and if they ever meet. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I would have said that one, but I have my own fanfic about him, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, Element, in your vision of a post Rise of Skywalker world, do you have him training with Rey?
Me? No.
Tamiri? That's a spoiler alert, but
Oh, okay.
I mean, I might as well have said just yes. Not in what has been released so far. I think we're up to chapter 3. But yeah, I've got someone to voice him, and
Nice.
he will be making it's like one of those, like, prodigal son returns type of moments.
I have him contending with his force ability, feeling a call to somewhere, and trying to figure out what it is. But at the same time, he's still like a slave on this planet. And so he has his little friends that he has like run interference so that he can try and explore and find this thing that he feels is calling to him. And then one day he gets caught. They figure out that he's not there, and they're punishing his little friends. And he unleashes with the force and just murks, their owner, and leads a little like a rebellion of these kids. And they're wandering now through the desert, trying to find this place that's calling for them. But these kids start to get tired. They start to get hungry, and they start to feel like maybe things were better for us back there. Yes, they worked us to death, but we had a place to sleep and we had food. And so they abandoned him. And he's like stuck in like despair and sadness and anger. And that's when he finds it. Another temple, similar to the one on Lothal, rises out of the sand. But this is a Sith temple. And he falls to the dark. Yeah, and I have a whole thing where he becomes the villain.
It's story time with Choco.
All right, Andor who? What's going on next? Let me get some popcorn. No.
That's what I want. That's my Tamari. So no, he ain't training with Rey.
Yeah, I mean, the short of it is, Finn knew when he was on Cantabite, so he goes back and recruits him. But there's a whole story behind it. That's like the short of it. But yeah, moving on to announcements. Does anybody have any announcements to make about any projects they're working on? Any new cosplays that's coming up? I, for example, will go first. I'm working on a we just talked about it on the pre-show on TikTok. I'm working on a short Penny Dreadful type of audio drama series called Chronicles of the Jedi that will feature creators, and that I was going to reach out to AJ, as well as an open invite to both you, Lyris and Abby. Basically, the premise is a 3 or 4 minute short audio drama that is centered around Padawans learning from their masters from different times, from different eras and different trials, and you get to voice your Padawan. and we'll have different masters on those episodes as well. And it's not serialized. It's very, like I said, Penny Dreadful. So they're all separate and their own shorts, and they're going to be really short to record. So AJ will play either like a really, really old for his age Padawan, or a master. But nonetheless, I'm going to write like the first 6 episodes, and then I'll have people come in and consult on what their Padawans will be like. And then we'll record the episode and release it on here, Dyad of the Force. So there's that.
Nice.
Any other announcements?
Wow. Yes, actually, I do. Me and a couple other creators worked together to film a short film this past summer, and I was the costume designer on the film, and it is called The Eye of the Forest. It's on Instagram, if you'll check it out, and we are premiering it on December on YouTube.
Awesome. I can't wait. I did have a discussion about it with Charlie and with Mads.
Yes.
And I'm very much I can't wait till I see the finished project, because I saw some of the behind the scenes. You guys look like you're having so much fun, even though apparently y'all were near death for most of the time. But
oh my gosh, I wasn't actually there for shooting, but I did hear about that.
Yeah.
It was very extreme, but we're excited, and yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
looking forward to that. I love fan films. It's like another thing other than cosplay is like I've always wanted to be a director, or like especially shoot like stuff separate from canon divergence, especially like fan films that expand on people's original characters or creations, which I think is such a fun way to interact with this already incredible universe to build upon. So anytime I see somebody's fan film, I am ready to support the heck out of that. It's go time. I will be there for that premiere. I want to see that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Love it.
Thank you.
Are you guys releasing so it's premiering on YouTube, right?
Yes, in December
Okay.
on Eye of the Forest.
All right. And once we get closer, remind us, and we'll do everything we can to help promote it and help get as many people to check it out as possible. So yeah, let us know.
Yes, thank you so much.
So for myself, obviously I have the High Ground podcast. Check it out Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Pacific time. I also have another podcast called Dyad in the Force. You may have heard of it, but I recently, through a conversation, it's also a slight Dyad moment, was inspired. We've been planning to do like a D&D campaign. We're calling it Dyads and Dragons. Cal was writing it, has just been really busy in life, so we've kind of have a little pause on that, and so it's inspired me to try and do another campaign. So I'm going to get some people together. I'm going to have all of them create characters that are Padawans, and then they're going to go on a little Force adventure. We're going to, after rewatching Rebels and Ezra going through the temple on Lothal and his visions and trials and stuff, it's like that would make an awesome campaign. If we have a little group of younglings go through something like that. And so yes, we're gonna get that moving as well. So excited about that. More details to come.
We should do a split. What is it called? An offshoot? What is it called? What is that show? A show that comes out of a main show called?
Spin-off?
Spin-off. Yes, thank you. We should do a spin-off for season 2 of Chronicles, where it's those people's characters from the campaign.
Yeah.
And they get to they dramatize their performance and their characters. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool. I'm down.
Lyris, other than Abeloth, do you have any teasers for any cosplay or videos?
I'm working on I've been trying to do more community-centered projects. So like my first big collab with some mutuals is going to be a I don't know if some people already know, because again it's like I said it to friends only, but it's going to be like a fun little reveal. So like the Dark Side collab, which is kind of like themed for Halloween. So for a lot of creators on TikTok, especially in the cosplay community, it's really hard to make stuff with the algorithm messing with how things come out. And again, it's like that for everyone, but especially for cosplayers, which is kind of cringe because that's what got the app popular in the first place, but I digress. So it's this project is going to be a fun little thing for the cosplay community to cosplay either baddie characters, like dark side characters, or like evil dark side versions of good characters. Just a fun little project that will showcase creators who either are not like, it's not going to be like a big creator only type of thing, you know what I mean? It's like people in the direct circle or people who haven't had the opportunity to do something. But that's all I can say about it now. I'm working on it. It's going to be spooky. I'm trying to get better at editing, so it's gonna like got some green screen stuff going on. But there's that, and also very tangentially, and this piece of art is, I'm pointing directly at the camera. This piece of art is safe for work. It is a study of Thrawn as Michelangelo's David because I am insane. This is safe for work.
What? Did you painted that?
Yes, I'm not done. Also, I'm not a traditional artist. I mostly do digital, so I'm trying to learn how to paint, but my man's right here. This is safe for work. You can't demonetize this.
Where's V? Is V in the chat?
Eli Vanto has that hanging in his quarters.
That's Eli Vanto's shirt as his loincloth.
That's all for me. That's all she wrote. That's all I got.
That's awesome. Okay, so I know who's gonna win our little Pictionary challenge at the end of the episode.
Right.
I forgot we were doing that. Sorry, I love Pictionary. I love Pictionary.
AJ, anything from you?
Well, me, for the most part, I've just, as I joke, recently had a lot more time to start delving back into creating content. So I'm going to have a lot more content coming out on all of the different platforms. The two other things that I'm committing it by saying it out loud, like everyone comes on to Dyad and announces their podcast. I talked in the past about wanting to start a podcast. This one's not as safe for work of a name, but I'm going to start officially working on Shit I Love with People I Like, which is the name of the podcast that I've been wanting to have, where I just bring on people that I like any of you guys, and we just talk about something that we love. You know, whatever it may be, kind of an interview style podcast where we just talk about stuff that we love, because I've always told people if there was anything I could do with my life, that would be it. Just talk about stuff that I love with people that I like. And then the last thing is that I think I know that Marvel and Cavan and them owe me a little bit of money for likeness, because I am Vildar Mac.
Yes, you are.
Like, I just am. So if I've never gotten into cosplay before, now's the time, because all I need is a little white stripe and some robes, and I think I can join the cosplay crew.
You and me both. You know, you got Vildar, I have Axel Greylark.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm going to abandon the whole comb over for the middle part. We'll see. I mean, I'm already Asian. We all look alike anyway, so. But hey, I finally have one. Like, and props to people who gender bend Rostico or Paige, but like, we finally have an Asian Jedi.
Also, as the one like legacy stan on the ever anywhere, it's nice to see another Jedi with a gun and a lightsaber. Just throwing that out there.
That's
we rock
true.
him with the Glock. We rock him with the Glock.
Nice. Okay.
Hey, we get a little bit of that with what's her face?
Sabine.
The monster of Temple Peak?
Ty. Yeah.
Ty Yorick, yes.
Ty York.
So speaking of which, I am currently down, like 20 pounds right now, and I'm trying to get into Emmerich shape, so we'll see. doing my thing.
Yeah. Really
So I'll be
quick,
joining y'all in the High Republic.
really quick for Lyris or Abby, are you guys into High Republic at all? Are we reading any of the books?
I've been really wanting to get into it, but I haven't. I think maybe I'll start on the books and see how it goes, but I've heard really good things from it. So I think I'm going to get into it.
It's been recommended to me. I have a very extensive list of books that I need to go through, but I've heard good things.
Yeah.
Well,
me
I
too.
mean, it's a great time because Phase 2 is just starting, and it is like I liken it to starting Star Wars in the prequels. It's back in time from Phase 1, which means you're in the prequel era. So you can read this book. It's called Path of Deceit by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland. If you read this book, you will not be lost. You will be in the thick of essentially this story that propels it to where we are in Phase 1. So if it's daunting to you to catch up to all of these books in Phase 1, start here with Path of Deceit, and then make your way back, or make your way forward towards Phase 1.
Make your way downtown, walking fast.
Yes.
Faces past.
And you're homebound.
What did I just say?
Galactic Vampire says the Chiss community is unstoppable. You
So
will be
true.
mentally scared, though. I mean, yes.
I felt like it was supposed to be mentally scarred. I don't know.
I mean, you could be scarred and scared at the same time. Not
It's
much
both.
True.
Yeah.
Just the amount of thirst in the Chiss community is unreal.
I mean,
That's all.
it
That's all I can
extends
say.
further
It's-
from the Chiss community, right? It's just blue people.
Blue people.
Or
Oh
blue
my gosh.
adjacent.
Literally, have you ever done that thing where you put all the characters that you've sent for in like a Venn diagram and you find all the commonalities? Blue people comes up quite a bit, and not even just for Star Wars. It's like Nightcrawler, Megamind if we're being for real. You gotta,
Okay.
you gotta
Oh
got
my
it.
god.
Okay, so
Kinda got
really
it.
quickly to kind of propel your motivations for the High Republic, go to Google right now and
Oh,
type
no.
and type this in.
Oh no.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
MARCHION.
Wait, Martin Rowe?
Yes,
I've seen pictures.
I can
I've
tell.
seen pictures.
And Abby, are you Googling it right now?
I am.
Do you see what Lyra sees?
Hey, yo.
The covers
No, I
the
do.
covers for Eye of the Storm have no right to go as hard as they do. Like that one of him with the chains sitting in the throne,
Conan the
like
Barbarian style?
yeah, even I was a little like, "Ooh, this is doing something here. Let's take off the road.
I love how you're like this will do something, because somebody has brought the exact same thing, the exact same motivation, and be like, oh well, if you want to start reading, may I present to you this character? And I was like, say less.
Hey, and if you're up for equity or equality, if you start in Path of Deceit, there is another there's two blue people.
Blue people.
Yeah,
Let's go, Bleeple.
You can look up Marda Row.
If you can hear that, I have a gamer keyboard. That was not a humble brag.
As we all do.
Pretty. Okay, work. I have.
Do they have concept art for Kevmo?
He's on the cover.
He is on
right?
the cover,
I mean, that's the only one I know. Kind of like we still technically don't have Elzar Man concept art. Still,
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Path of Deceit and look at the book cover, the blue person on the left.
You know, I was just thinking.
This is a weird road to travel.
I know, but if we're talking about blue people, I mean, toss in buckets of blood.
That too. Or Max
oh,
Rabooty.
Buckets of blood in his final moments of glory there.
Yeah, I tweeted it, and then someone responded like, "Please don't remind me of buckets of diapers."
Oh,
that was good times.
Oh man. Okay. So I think Abby and Lyris are on their way to possibly getting on the High Republic track, and that is a success.
Yes, yes.
And I'd be down to seeing a Markion Ro cosplay or a Jorah Mali cosplay from Abby. You'll know these names eventually.
Yes, I'm sure.
You will know.
Ooh, Alula. She could do Alula.
oh yeah, yeah.
Look this up, Abby.
Okay.
Welcome to
okay.
Dyad in the Force episode
I'm like-
Google.
Yes.
It's Lula, and then the last name is Talisola, Talisola.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks cool.
And you get the High
She's
Republic robes with it
very
too.
cool.
It's great. Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Let me know when that happens.
Yeah. I'll tag you. I'll tag you.
Awesome. Okay, let's move on to Fandom Crawl. What's everybody watching these days? Like all of the things that are out?
Like
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but this is where we can take a brief moment and chat about things outside of Star Wars. Myself, having just finished, watched the last episode of Rings of Power, and damn.
That was legit.
Yes.
How did you guys are you guys watching Rings of Power?
I'm not. I'm behind, though I
I
do
am
love
not.
Lord of the Rings, but I want to rewatch like
Yes.
everything from the beginning.
Okay, no worries.
Me too. Me too. I'm in the same boat.
Okay, because my next word was going to be a spoiler.
You can
Yep,
spoil
yep.
it. I personally don't mind, but if you
It's
all
okay.
do,
Yeah.
Like personal principle, I tend not to spoil
Probably
anything,
remember.
even if people are like okay to be spoiled. It's just
don't
like,
tell me there's rings in this show.
there's elves.
That's-
That's how I am too.
Literally rings in
crazy.
this show.
That's crazy.
There's rings, and they're of power.
Like,
Oh my
finally.
goodness, jeez.
No way.
Couldn't have guessed.
man.
Spoilers, guys.
I am on the edge of my seat for the next episode of Hot D.
Oh, Keeping Up with the Targaryens is my soap opera. Injected into my veins.
How many people are gonna have Aemon in their name and D? Oh, that's just the hot
I'm
D.
like, no.
It just switches, right? Damon, Aemond, Vaymond. Well, they added the V because they had too much
You know
D.
what? Not to derail things too much D. Not to derail things too far, but like, so I love language, and I've been doing a lot of like study with High Valyrian because I think it's really cool language. But what bothers me is, oh yeah, but because George R.R. Martin is not like Tolkien, not a linguist. David Peterson created the language way back with Game of Thrones, and then now in Hot D. But the thing that bothers me is because George was just like, oh, let's name everybody, you know, Rhaenyra, Rhaenys, Rhaena, with no real like care as to why. It bugs me that there's no explanation in the language as to why all of their names have any difference at all. I can give you like where the root of the name comes from, but the end of the name, who knows? Like, so why they change little things like that, it just makes me like, I want to be able to give people like an explanation and be like, well, there's actually a reason. You see, it's because George just thought it would sound cool if they all had the same name.
Yeah, okay, and so that's it's kind of what Lyris was saying with her experience with Star Wars. I have not spent a lot of time in fantasy content. I grew up on the sci-fi side of things, and now that I'm delving into fantasy, everyone's name sounds the same. Rings of Power started, and again, I watched Lord of the Rings for the first time like a year ago, They're talking, you know, like I have no idea who they're talking about. They all the names sound the same.
Tolkien's a little bit better.
Tolkien's is bad. Like I'll hear a name and be like, okay, that sounds like an elf name, so that's good. But
he had the actual language, like he had the lexicon, right? And so you could see Isildur and then Deal, and then all of these names actually have meanings. So they're not as like haphazard as AJ said. Of D.
But which is why
House of Dragon though is on the other side, you know, and there's people whose names are similar. There's people who are named after other characters that are still alive. There's people who are named after characters that existed many years ago, and sometimes I get confuzzled. That's just me.
Yep. There's 2 Aegons, 2 only one Viserys now, but there were 2 Viseryses, 2 Aegons, an Aemon, a Daemon, a Vaemon.
It feels like dodgeball, where he's like blade, laser, blazer.
Listen, Kevmo. I feel like they were looking at the sign of Bevmo and they were like, that needs to change, and then they put that on a character in Star Wars. It is.
This episode of Andor has a 4-armed doctor, and they named him Dr. Quadpaw.
On account of his quad paws. Goes without saying.
It is on the nose.
Oh gosh.
In other fandoms, Bleach came back on Monday, and I cried. I almost cried when they started reintroducing, and then like, it just like snowballed from there. AJ, you've seen all of Bleach?
Yes, and like it was beautiful too. The new one, like that's what really got me. It was like the spirit of old Bleach, but just like wrapped in a beautiful new package, and I just
wrapped in a package called 2022 animation.
Exactly. And knowing how much new Bleach we've got and how they're really taking their time with the 1,000, you know, like, it's just
really. Jay is back.
I look forward to catching up to that. I am also someone that's very, very much behind on Bleach. But saw the first episode of Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
And if you've ever wanted to know what it looks like, first of all, the beginning, and it's like, oh, he has a cute little dog that's also a chainsaw. I loved it so much.
I knew as soon as you saw that, right, you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I still like weeped because of that moment.
As I get older, I just weep at everything now. I still laugh at myself rewatching Haikyuu and being like, they work so hard. It's hard to watch them starting over again. Like,
nothing wrong with emotion. That's where you get your power from.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my wife is like, you didn't cry at our wedding, and I'm like, well, but he worked so hard.
You know what's funny? I've never seen Haikyuu, but I've done some fan dubs of some scenes from it, and I know exactly what he's talking about when he says they worked so hard, because there's some like really powerful screaming and just kind of like compelling scenes in there.
You gotta watch it, man. I don't even like volleyball.
That's what everyone tells me about Haikyuu. Is they're like, I don't even like volleyball. I don't like slice of life, but you have to watch it. Still haven't gotten there.
Do you guys watch anime? I know Lyris had some clear reactions to Bleach and Chainsaw Man.
Because back in the day, because I always really wanted to cosplay Rukia, and there's a lot of like Bleach baddies that I would love to see in the new style. That's all I'll say for that, because I don't remember catching up all the way to the end. I mostly read the manga, but
yeah, I mean that's completely fair, because there's 2.5 seasons of garbage.
Yeah, there was a power scaling problem, I do believe, and it got kind of wacky fast.
But also, like, having 2.5 full seasons of a 6-season show, of fillers, is going to harm the show.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just glad that like the cult classic status of Bleach kept it alive, where they were like, I think we can do this now, this final arc. And it's so hype. Just the animation has taken a huge upgrade, or gone through one. Abby?
Tite Kubo was. Oh, sorry. I just want to say that Tite Kubo was one of like my beginning art inspirations, because it was like manga with a style that was so, I don't know, so captivating. The way he did faces was so different from how I've seen so many others do it, and like it, like when I think of adult anime, the way he drew it, it doesn't like, things nowadays tend to go really moe, and it's like they overly round out everything, but his style back in the day, I was like, okay, this is what it's about. I want to see more of this. That's all I want to say for that.
No, it was a very unique style. It was like jazzy almost, just like the soundtrack. It's funny. Abby, do you watch anime at all?
Yeah, I actually watched Attack on Titan, the first season. I am very new to anime, but I'm wanting to get into it more. I've been recommended Haikyuu. A couple people love that show. One Piece, I heard was very good.
The One Piece is real.
It is good.
So if you guys have any recommendations, I'd love to take it and chime out.
Parasite.
Parasite is good.
Parasite, the axiom.
Parasite. I have heard of that one too.
My recommendation has always been in recent memory Jujutsu Kaisen. And that's because there's a throne in anime right now, and MAPPA is right on top of it. Like, all of their animes are incredible. Starting with Jujutsu, going on to what seems to be, and I'm trying to catch up to it, Tacked Up Destiny, which is about music. And then to Chainsaw Man. Like, they're making some really great moves in the anime industry, and I love it. So Jujutsu Kaisen, I'll put it in the chat or DM you, but
yes, I'd love that.
It's really good.
And to toss a classic in there, you can't go wrong with Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
If
yes,
you,
I have heard about them.
Oh, it's the same creators with Attack on Titan. So, yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Demon Slayer's another
Alchemist.
like current one that's like really beautiful is Demon Slayer. Really pretty.
That is true, yes.
Oh, I do love pretty. I am a sucker for pretty things.
So am I.
I mean, if you do look up the studios, which I recommend as someone who's watched anime for a while, to kind of like get a feel for how the animation is going to be and how the storytelling is going to go. Typically, this isn't the rule of thumb, but Studio MAPPA, Studio Trigger, Bones, and Ufotable, all hits, no misses. So if you go to a Crunchyroll and you see that it's from a certain studio, like the ones that I said, you won't be disappointed.
But
Yes,
I am
I'd
curious.
love for you to send me that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am curious for Abby. What are you? What has been occupying your fan space lately? What are you into?
Mostly Marvel and Star Wars. Star Wars tends to take over my mind most of the time. But when it doesn't, it's usually Marvel, especially now with She-Hulk, since it was just recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finale
That
did
was a
stuff
great
for me. Yeah.
That finale was amazing.
That blew my mind.
It was what's funny is that I saw a Straw Hat stitch someone that actually, like, it went over their head. That they, like, the episode was trolling a certain type of people, and that certain type of people made a video about the finale being that type of person. And I don't know how
Yeah.
your self-awareness
Right.
just is so non-existent that you step into the box so clearly and so voluntarily. It
Right.
was, that person's comment was exactly like like when Pug goes in and is visiting all the people, and it's like, just make sure to call them all females, and like that was just goated. That was perfect.
I just loved also like the meta nature of going to Kevin.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
The moment with the please transform back, it's expensive, but do it off camera. The VFX team is already working on something else. Loved that moment.
On the other side, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Perfect.
I did want to like I do love that going off from AJ's thing, like the VFX thing, but I don't want to be like a bummer on a serious note, but also like, dang, the Marvel VFX team and all of like the digital production, they're really kind of going through it. So it's like a little bit
Yeah.
not in bad taste, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say, because it's like a nod to it, it's addressing it, but
Mhm.
you gotta do a little compensation for the workers if you're gonna make a little joke
Yes.
about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right.
that is
Hopefully that gets addressed.
hopefully. I mean, there's this whole thing in the gaming industry where, people have been trying to unionize, and there's an alliance called the Better ABK, which I support, and donate to sometimes. It's a tough gig, in tech and in the game industry, where you're not allowed to unionize, and therefore you can't have you don't have this collective power to make sure you're well compensated, and so you have these VFX artists who are crunching basically 24/7 365, and they go from one project to the next, and it was like a self-aware jab at their own practices.
Yeah, I mean, when you're unionized, once you go beyond a certain time period, like your rate spikes up, and then like there's a lot of all these benefits that prevent people from taking advantage of them. Recently, Bayonetta's voice actor, I don't know if you
I was
guys
about
heard
to
that
say, yeah.
situation.
Mhm.
They were going to, for Bayonetta 3, right? AAA game, guaranteed sell millions of copies, right? They were only going to pay her $4,000 for her voice acting role, and she's like,
As the title character.
"Word?" As the title character.
Mhm.
That's I mean, you live in LA, right? How much is that $4,000 paying for?
One bedroom apartment in Glendale.
Yeah. So
I'm not exaggerating either.
That's the thing where these sometimes these companies are not taking care of the people that make them successful, and that's unfortunate. We need to get that addressed. But I will say, sorry for taking us on that tangent. We do still need to talk about the most beautiful episode of Andor, and one of the most beautiful things that happened in Star Wars, Episode 6.
Let's get to it.
How you guys feeling on Andor overall? How did this episode hit you? What was special? Let's hear from Abby first.
Cassian Andor.
That's my marker.
Yeah, I loved it. Like I said before, I'm a sucker for beautiful scenes, and that had probably the most beautiful scene, like you said, in Star Wars. And it was just the cherry on top of this episode, because it was so much more than just that moment. It was like the heist, the adrenaline, the rush, keeping hidden everything, and it just grew to this amazing episode, and I really liked it. And there were a lot of twists, and it wasn't just like all good and it wasn't all bad. But yeah, it was really exciting to watch. Kept me interested.
Yeah. Probably some of the most beautiful cinematography we've seen, even with like CG in Star Wars. And I like how it built up to it too. Like there was this one moment where, you know, there were guards walking in like a catwalk or a banister, and like just one shot across, and I was like, is that it? And I would have been fine if that was the Eye of Aldhani, because it was so beautiful. But then of course I like my mind came back to me, and I was like, that's not it. But if it's that times like 1,000, it's gonna be spectacular. And it was, and it had some of the best shots. I think I'm using one of them as the thumbnail for this live stream. Is when they were flying in the middle of it, and it looked like they were in hyperspace. It was like a very joyful hyperspace, a joyful version of hyperspace. But no, it was just a storm, and that was beautiful.
And the very last thing that K2SO says in Rogue One, climb. Beautiful.
That's the last thing that Nemec says. Andor. Oh man, how did you guys feel?
In the chat, Galactic Vampire said the balance between real sets and special effects make the special effects more special. Wholeheartedly agree. There's obviously more people are already going like, everything shouldn't be CG, even though it's easier to manipulate that sort of thing. But especially for Andor, the way it literally grounds everything in a sense of believable reality, and the contrast between these beautiful, solid locations allows the Celestial Eye of Aldhani event to be that much more breathtaking, because you see this entirely real world, and instead of it being just a jarring difference, like, oh, here's the actual Earth that they're filming at, like Earth from our world, it's like, no, it's completely believable. And once the Celestial event takes place, it's like, oh, I can see how the Aldhani and this group of people, it would become this religious, beautiful cultural practice, because I was moved to tears. I was like, a cinematic one tear rolls down the eye. I was watching, I was like, oh my god. It makes and also the gravity of it being like a very limited time, like it's already a very short time, and then it's only once, or people are going to miss it. And the way the guards were hyping it up, like, oh yeah, I don't want to miss this, or let's get stationed above here, it made it to the viewer all that more like special, because it felt like I was witnessing a once in a lifetime event and not some pixels on a screen that somebody drafted up in Unreal Engine or something. It was beautiful.
And I kind of took it a symbolic way of, right, Star Wars is this fantastical universe, and we're here beneath it in this story. And I felt like these are the regular people living, being crushed under the boot of the Empire. And that moment was them rising up into Star Wars. Like that's kind of how I felt.
Might just give me goosebumps.
Yeah. How about you, AJ?
Oh yeah, no. First off, I love heists, like in general.
Yeah.
And so
Leverage.
Yes, Leverage was one of my favorite TV shows. Like I loved the heist aspect of it. I will admit that I think to kind of provide a different perspective, this was not my favorite episode. I really enjoyed last episode, and I think part of the reason was I really loved the heist aspect. It was beautiful, but I also felt like it almost took it was a little much for me of the build up to the actual heist. Like I felt like I feel like as part of a whole taken with the arc, it'll probably feel a lot better for me. But it was just a little like slow in the beginning for me. Still loved it. Still beautiful. I agree with everything everybody said. I've really come to love the dialogue heavy parts of Andor because it's so well written that this episode being a little more focused on building the tension and some of the action in it just kind of lost a little bit of that for me. But I still really loved it. But I really liked last episode a lot.
Oh no, I agree. I like the last episode a lot too, and it's the episode that actually made me say this is the best writing in Star Wars that we've gotten. Everything that Nemec says, everything that comes out of that guy's mouth, it was absolutely brilliant dialogue. And even though this is episode 6 discussion, like the pace of repression outstrips our ability to understand it, and that's the real trick of the Imperial thought machine. I just quoted it verbatim without looking it up, and that's how powerful that quote is. You know, it's easier to hide behind 40 atrocities than one. And the series kind of like feels like the writing has grown up. And Kenny says in the chat, the whole series feels like adult Rebels. Which is true because it's the theming, the atmosphere. It's all very mature, you know. Especially in this episode where Andor shoots first, or Andor shoots. I don't know how we're gonna treat that scene when it comes to memeing, but I'm sure it's gonna happen.
Well,
you know what's interesting though is Andor is written with, because most of Star Wars is straight up camp. Right, and Andor is not immune to campy elements. See Dr. Quadpaw. But that being said, it takes a lot of things seriously, but at the same time, it does them really well. And I think I think that's been one of the complaints is because it's not as memeable for people who that's kind of like their content style, you know. So there's kind of less conversation around hacky things, but it's because it's so well written. And there's, you know, and obviously if the show is you find it slow or boring, whatever, that's totally fine. There's no ill will, you know, you do you. But I feel like, you know, like you said, the writing and the dialogue is so good in this show that sometimes the action is like, can we go back to the dialogue? You know, versus other shows where it's kind of campy, and then you're like, okay, when's the next thing? And I keep comparing it to the train heist in Solo, which I love the movie Solo. They are night and day difference. The actual act of the train heist is the core of that interaction. You are watching them heist. That's not what you're watching in this show. You are watching these people who all have different reasons for being here, different grievances, and they getting fed up and fighting back. And your concern is the people. You don't care about what they're taking or what you know. And I think that's his strength. But I love that we can get the variety of having those two things be exact opposites and still both enjoyable.
I want to add on to that in that I feel like, especially now because there's so much funding, and I know some people complain about having, which it is going to be such a weird complaint, too much Star Wars. I think the opposite is true. I only partially agree if it's like they spread themselves too thin. But I love that we have these different shows that I feel like if we weren't restricted too much to stick to Star Wars, like the sort of content that perpetuates what we already have. Like, Choco, you were saying how this was a beautiful way to explore dialogue. Andor is doing something where it's political intrigue, and so many people have been begging for this type of thing that deals into the nitty-gritty, explores, like, also because they're doing multiple storylines, which is Imperial, Rebel, and also Andor's origins from like separatist stuff. It's all of this stuff that's not originally space lasers, space wizards, stuff like that, where I feel like as a show, in that realm, it is nailing very well. And especially for the people who want to see that sort of thing, it's wonderful to see. Whereas with Book of Boba Fett, I feel like how you were talking about how it had camp elements. The difference between those two is Book of Boba Fett, it was, I'm not going to tear it to shreds, but it was lacking in the aspects of, it was not dialogue, it was not character interactions, it was things are happening with characters you want to see stuff happen with, instead of this is a world and things are happening, if that makes sense. Whereas Andor is, these people, we are exploring heavily into why they do the things they do, and it's not relying on, not that cameos and Easter eggs are a bad thing, but it's not relying on new character of the week for Star Wars YouTubers to be like, oh my god, Boba Fett just did a somersault with Blix Splonty from Legends and they made it canon. It's like all of these people.
We miss Blix. That's my one gripe about these past few episodes. Go on, I'm sorry.
It's I just think it's a perfect, like, I love camp. I'm looking camp right in the eye. I love Star Wars camp. But as a show, Andor and its ability to explore these things, especially with people who've been begging they want dark Star Wars, and we can go darker. If we got like, oh my god, if Star Wars made a very
no
like,
Abeloth.
No Abeloth, and they had the Blackwing virus. I'm like, there's so much to do. I'm like so excited for that. But it is, people have been begging for this, and then I see the same type of people who were begging for this content go, oh, it's boring. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But if you want to see the nitty gritty, you're gonna get the nitty gritty. And they do it, they execute in such a way that all these characters that people didn't originally care for, especially with Andor, when people were like, who's Cassie? I don't care about this. It makes them care. Like, all of these people become people. They're no longer characters with the way they flesh it out. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
You guys talk.
On top of that, though, we got an immediate payoff to Arvel Skeen. In the previous episode, he raised a huge. He like basically just made all this noise about Andor being there with a valuable item. And he made it such a big deal that he's there for the money. And in this episode, he's like, let's take the money. And you realize that's why he did it. That's why he had a problem with it. Yeah. That was the one thing that... AJ, it looks like you wanted to say something.
Oh, one I was going to say, when it comes to the Blackwing virus, if Marvel can get Werewolf by Night, we can get a one-shot Halloween Blackwing virus. Like, just dead space, one ship, like a platoon of stormtroopers, and the Blackwing virus. Like, just a one-shot.
Is Star Wars ready for zombies?
Why was Werewolf by Night so goddamn good? Like, I was...
Right?
It really was.
Okay. That's sorry, go ahead.
I'm like, sorry.
I think it's like, especially like Werewolf by Night and stuff where it's like offshoots that have nothing. Like, I would say it's a similar vein where with this creative endeavor and creative endeavors where it's like there's no precursor to it. They just release it to the people. I would say it's similar to how people were like, who the hell are the Guardians of the Galaxy? And they released it and it's like, oh, this slays. If you have a production with nothing to lose and you go all out, it becomes something tangible that people want. So I like, especially with Rogue One, that's literally what happened with Rogue One. Mm-hmm. People freaking love it now. Just and like
that's what has happened with everything, and people don't see it, and it drives me freaking insane. No one cared about Iron Man or the Avengers before Marvel made those films. The only reason Marvel made those films is because they couldn't sell. No one would buy those characters. All the characters that people were interested in buying got bought. So they had this to work with. But since this was a new thing, we didn't have preconceived notions and all this stuff, it was transformative and it recreated them. Why was the Mandalorian so popular? Brand new character. He doesn't even talk. You know, like he has no face. You know, but we're telling a new story. Brand new character. Why is this so good? New story, new character. But more than that, since we don't have any preconceived notions coming into it on what this needs to be, we're letting the story tell us what it is, what it's going to be, rather than they didn't do this week. Oh, this is dog water.
Exactly.
And then
exactly.
But and it drives me crazy that people don't understand. Like, wow, well then DC has awesome stuff with like Peacemaker, and like you'd never heard of Peacemaker before the Peacemaker show before, right? That's why it was good. Yeah. No one cared about Black Adam.
That is the biggest thing holding media back, because it's like every 5 years, people, I mean, other than like really long running things, and it's hardest with very long running things, especially Star Wars. That's where we get all of the, excuse me again if I keep talking too long, feel free to chime in. There's so
awesome.
much, thank you. There's so much build up and expectation for stuff that's the whole like canon legends thing. Expectation that is not, what's the word? Guaranteed. So people build these ideas up in their heads. It's like, we have all of this, so therefore this must happen. But that's not what the writers are doing. And it's like, people get mad that their personal vision isn't executed. So each their own. Everybody has their own headcanons. I have stuff that's wildly like, oh, yeah. I would do it a different way if I could. But with Star Wars, it is held back so badly. And if it was doing more of what's doing and now with these new shows, but more of the stuff where Marvel does, where it's like, we're just gonna go balls to the wall. We don't have fanboys riding our meat on this one. Let's just get a bunch of guys and have them do something, but with heart and passion. And that heart and passion propels this new venture forward. And that's literally all it takes. I don't want to be like, Star Wars has a fanboy problem. Everybody has a fanboy problem. It's not endemic to Star Wars, but it just prevents these new shows from happening. And like you said, The Mandalorian, people wanted the Book of Boba Fett to be The Mandalorian. If The Mandalorian didn't exist, the Book of Boba Fett show would probably be that. That's also why a lot of people don't like Book of Boba Fett, because they have him a certain way in their minds, which is fair if you grew up with it.
Talking too much.
Based on 8 minutes.
Yeah, goodness. But yeah, that's my beast.
Andor's a primary example too. Out of everyone that I would have wanted to see a spin-off show from Rogue One, I would have loved a team up with Chirrut and Baze. And when they announced Andor, I was like, I'm not really sure I wanted a show about Andor. Now it's one of my most favorite shows in Star Wars, so it's like you don't know what you want until you get it. And that goes to what Choco said, you know, when new show, like I feel like Acolyte also is going to be, because no one has any preconceived, unless they announce tomorrow that it's about Tenebris and their gender bending. But like if it's a new character and it's Darkside lore, everyone's gonna lose their shit, you know. And
sorry, I was gonna, if it's okay, I was gonna kind of bring it back to Andor a little bit. Specifically, I was gonna kind of half soapbox for just a second. I made a big point on another podcast last week when I was talking about Nemec, but now that we have his full story, I think Nemec, I like to view Nemec through the lens that Cassian Andor views him, rather than the lens that the internet seems to want to view him. And what I really mean by that is, I love Nemec, but I think a lot of, for lack of a better word, white allies see Nemec and they self-insert themselves into the story. And they say, this is us. You know, I'm like, Nemec has the right answers for everything. He's that guy that's got his hot button tweets about the issues. He's got a blog where he talks about social justice issues. But what has he really experienced? And we've seen, like, we didn't get a backstory for Nemec. Nemec's backstory is his, like, belief, his faith. And, like, that's strong. But if you watch the way Cassian looks at him, he's like, yeah, those are cool words. Like, yeah, that's great. But what are you going to do to back it up? When the chips are down, what are you going to do? And the fact that we saw Nemec go all the way through and really prove how strong his allyship really is, and literally to be crushed by the weight of Imperial gold. Like, you cannot get more beautiful poignancy than that. But like, I love that through all of this, so much of the internet discourse has been, oh, Nemec is great, Nemec is amazing, Nemec is, saying everything that everyone wants to say. And it's like, yeah, any person of color will tell you how many times you've seen that guy and him not hold up, him not be the person that you thought he would be. And if you watch Cassian in those scenes, he's constantly like, cool, and then moving on. And I think that relationship, that idea that Cassian had of Nemec, and then now we've seen where his story went, he literally died for this. I think that manifesto is really gonna be the thing that gives Cassian his reason going forward, because Nemec wasn't just that person who put the words in. He was there, he put in the work.
And to what you're saying, right, they were all words until it was real, and Cassian tells him, like, in the moment you're gonna hesitate, right? We saw that with our other white ally in the big, but when Nemec was holding the gun to the guards and he was shaking, the brown girl came in and shot the dude. But in the moment when it counted, when Cassian was wrestling to be the pilot, he hit a crack shot with a stolen E11 blaster he had just picked up, which is like, in Battlefront 2, I couldn't do that. I couldn't hit that shot. One shot? Hell. But no, what you're saying was just perfect. I do have my own thing. I'm curious what you guys think might happen going forward, but a couple things. I feel like Cassian, after this, gets his money, he goes home. And it's a light version of the Return with the Elixir. He comes home, but home is different, and he's different from what he just experienced. There's now an Imperial garrison that's set up here. They took that hotel in the middle. He didn't want to be part of this fight, but this fight has taken over his home, and he doesn't necessarily have a place to go back to. So I think that's going to be like a really important thing. I think he doesn't actually read the manifesto until the final episode of the season. I think the season ends with him picking it up to read it. And then eventually, I want him to like somehow broadcast a manifesto, and Bodhi Rook hears it, and that's what turns Bodhi Rook for their Rogue One.
That's a good one.
I like it.
What do you guys think about so for, especially with how we still have a lot left, and hopefully, I don't remember how many episodes are left. This wasn't like the big finale.
6 left.
6 more, yeah.
With that, like the characters for the heist, we've already gotten, unfortunately, rip my Kangs. They're out of the way, they're gone, so they've experienced their character arcs. I think again, I'm so bad with names, but the guy that Andor did the little mob sleeping with the fishes, he nerfed. Everybody's very okay. I'm trying to like get the words together, but all these people, and especially with this episode, how it's revealed that he's not like the best guy. Like all these people have, without no more choice, have to unite under this common goal. But I think the Andor show explores that it's not obviously black and white. There's so many shades of gray to this, especially with Andor not being a good guy and the morality regarding it. He's not a hero, and the fact that some people are like, oh, the rebels are just as bad as the Empire. Girl, him, no hesitation, shooting that man. Also, the reveal that he's just as bad. psychologically, it makes you realize, looking back on the episodes, that's why that guy hated Andor so much, because they were one and the same, or not really, but very similar in that the guy, once he saw Andor, immediately recognized bits of himself within him. Projection. That's why all that hostility was there, because very similar goals. But that's where Cassian starts breaking off from it. Not quite a foil, almost a mirror, where they make that decision. He makes a decision not to split with the money, whereas this guy is how other people view Cassian, and Cassian is slowly starting to rip away from this other character, literally killing him, so destroying that part of the ego, or the part of his mind which was thinking about those thoughts as a way to like push himself. He doesn't want to be a hero. He's hesitant to that role, but that scene is him literally wrestling and nipping that bit of morality that he's struggling with in the bud. So I want to know, how do you guys think that I mean, we know where he ends up in Rogue One, but what do you think he'll have to like deal with? Like, I don't know what he could do to like make a comeback. Like, he's very much leaning, especially for the first episode where he also pops one off and kills another guy. I don't know what he's gonna do to like, what the writers are gonna do to redeem him. And by redeem him, I don't mean make him a full-fledged good guy. I'm just wondering what sort of journey he's gonna go on from here in like the next episodes. Like, there's not a room.
If I'm picking up what you're saying, I think what we're gonna see is him have to wrestle with people died, and they died after the heist. And I think that is going to be difficult for him, but he is somewhere in between Skeen and our, I guess, main antagonist so far with Cyril. Cyril's has such a boner for justice that he's willing to like murder people to get it, you know? And Andor is in between, where he's like, it is what it is. Like, this is what this world is, and I'm gonna survive any way I can, but I still want justice and I still appreciate it. So he's gonna be in between the two, and I think going forward, I think that's the line we're gonna toe is, you know, what does justice actually mean? Does that mean following the rules? What if the rules are wrong? What if the people you are avenging the deaths of were in the wrong when they lost their lives to begin with? I think that's kind of where we're gonna be sitting with it.
I think in time they're gonna Cyril and Andor have to cross paths. Their ideologies are gonna clash, and eventually it's going to, you know, be the catalyst that, pun intended, turns Andor back towards the path of him joining the rebellion. And that's what's going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. But
bursting.
I'm bursting because I got two words to answer this. Saw Gerrera. That's the difference.
Yeah,
because so far, Cassian's been the baddest man in his little rebel group that we've seen. Like, Cassian's, you know, Mr. takes no answers, you know, like he's just here for the money. But when he was put up against somebody who was just there for the money, who was willing to just cut and run, all of a sudden Cassian was better than that. You know, he had morals all of a sudden. Wait till he meets Saw Gerrera. That's going to be the change, is that as hard as Cassian thinks he is, as much as he thinks he doesn't care and, you know, he's just there for the money, wait until he meets the truest rebel that you can. The man who is willing to do whatever it takes, no matter the cost.
Ooh,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I love that, because I think that's going to spark the question, what separates the cause from the acts you do to achieve it? And that's where the manifesto is going to come in.
Yeah, Saw. I'm so excited for Saw. Saw
Yeah.
has slowly become. I used to be a Saw hater, but like going back, rewatching the Andor arc, reading Rebel Rising, you really start to see that like when I rewatched Rogue One again, realized that like Saw is the Rebels version of Darth Vader, the man who
so
literally
tragic.
gave everything for the rebellion, and no one ever respected it. He lost his body. He's been in this fight since before it was a rebellion, and like I can't wait for Cassian to meet him. And like you said, like a lot of what Nemec said is what Saul would say, and yeah, it's going to be a totally different view of the rebellion from everything that we've seen so far with Luthen and Mon Mothma and Vel and all them, to when we get to Saw and the Partisans.
Yeah. Abby, I want to bring you into this conversation. What do you think is going to happen with Andor? Where do you think he's going forward in the next several episodes?
I think Andor is really interesting in the way that, like you were saying, he isn't just like the good guy or the bad guy. There's like sides to him. He does have a moral, but it does change depending on who he's confronted with, especially with what happened in last episode. With Saw, I don't know. I was trying to go through and like I don't know what will happen with him, because he's just never come across someone that has challenged him so much that I think he will. And there's just so much that can happen with his character, and I want to see if he'd like adjust or change, or maybe, I don't know, anything really. I'm just excited to see what happens.
Adding on top of that really quickly, just to catch up with chat, Person Noodles says, I think one of the questions for the show is if he's still going to look for his sister or not. With what he experienced, is that something that will still be as important as it used to be? If you want to also cover that one, Abby.
Yeah, I think he has a strong family connection with where he came from. I think he still holds that maybe guilt in him, and maybe he'd want to see what happened with her. We did see in the beginning that he was looking for her, trying to see where she was. I think once he's figured out this whole fight, he'd probably go back to his family where he came from and try to find her, see what happened to her, go back to his roots and sort it out. But yeah, I love hearing about what you guys are thinking, because I've never thought about like how deeply everyone's connected and how everyone's like not perfectly good or bad, and it's so interesting to me. So I love hearing what you guys think.
I'm just gonna throw this out there, and I hate to say it, Cassian's sister is gonna be fridged.
I mean, everyone is eventually.
I think it's very likely.
He's gonna finally get a lead. This is where she is. After she left this place, this is the place she went to. He's gonna go there, and he's gonna arrive there just after something really bad happens with the Empire, and then she's not there anymore. And that's going to be part of his realization. The other thing that we were seeing with this arc specifically is that if he didn't show up, they wouldn't have succeeded. And he's like, what were you guys going to do if I wasn't here? And I think he's going to, he's never going to be Nemec. And he's never going to be that, but he's going to understand this needs to be done. I'm gonna give my soul to this cause, and I'm gonna do it because they need me, because no one else can, because they'll fail if I don't do it, not necessarily because I believe. And if they fridge the sister, which sucks, but that's because of how we've been conditioned with media. I think that's where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be like, I don't have anything else.
Galactic Vampire says Cyril is going to be Dedra's new intern. And it makes me think of something that we haven't really explored. Now, Andor is going to encounter Saw Gerrera. And he's going to be shown some extremes, of course, that kind of shapes his character moving forward. What if his sister is in Saw's group and is a believer? And the whole conflict of trying to get his sister back is getting her to come around and not be so extreme, you know, and not be so.
I would enjoy that thoroughly.
I like that. The idea that she is like a partisan and a believer, and him trying to get her to leave gets him further into the cause.
Yeah.
I still hope they don't fridge her, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope.
But that could be okay, I'm absolutely going on these missions because they'll fail if I'm not there.
What if he shows her the manifesto?
To the sister.
Yeah.
That's possible. I know what I want from the manifesto, and I said this on our watch party. By the way, there's an open invite for you guys. If midnight showings of Andor is not an inconvenience for your time zones or wherever you are, to join us when we react to the episodes.
I can do it now.
So next Tuesday, 11 p.m. Pacific for us. The episode usually drops at 11:50. So we take about like 20 minutes to just kind of vamp with each other and just conversate. So Lyris and Abby, if you ever want to be on an Andor watch party, you guys are more than welcome to.
I'm down. I'm down.
Okay.
I would love to, but it's 3 a.m. for me.
Yeah, that's usually the case for a lot of people in the East. But yeah, if you can make it, let us know. And I guess AJ and Lyris, we are wide open in our booking for the next Andor watch party. If you guys want to take this,
Well, let's do it.
okay. There it is. So what was I saying? In our watch party, I was saying that with the manifesto, I want him at some point at the end to read the manifesto, and it has like at the very end, it says something about how the cause will always need something to, will always need a solid foundation to work on, right? After all of his, philosophical stuff. And then at the very end it says, because rebellions are built on hope. And that's what he says to Jin in Rogue One.
I agree.
The general idea is that something from the manifesto is something he says to Jin in Rogue One. Or to anybody, really. To anyone in Rogue One. That would be cool.
I agree. I feel like that, if you want a fan servicey thing, like that's the one that makes perfect sense for that to be something that he took from there.
Yeah. Outside of bringing Jin into the show for no narrative reason.
Unless it's baby Jin. Come on. Or, well, young Jin, I guess. I don't know how baby she is. Timelines are all wibbly.
Timelines are
now.
weird. That's why I'm really excited to get the Timelines book. If you saw the amount of work that they've been putting into it, how many years and just watching our good friend of the channel, Julia Christine, has been talking about people's canonical ages, and it's hilarious sometimes because you sometimes forget that Lando is the same age as Padme. That's weird, right?
Yeah.
She'd be 14, I think. Jin would be 14 right now.
Wow.
Okay. So, I'm old. We're old, so baby. No.
I will say in the Star Wars universe, though, I feel like people have to grow up faster. I feel like teenagers are doing a lot of heavy lifting in that world.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Because this show on regular people and the regular citizens of the CIS believe the fight was freedom from a corrupt republic, how those ideas transition with rebellion. Oh, there was there was something before that. I'm just waiting or a mention of former separatists still carrying on their fight in the forming of the rebellion. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That is another thing. Oh, sorry, we all went once. We didn't get a lot of. Well, I kind of thought we'd be getting more cis stuff, but I'm glad we got a little bit of that because it's like that is a major part of the galactic war, and also Cassian coming from that background, perfect opportunity to explain what's going on there. Like the whole, you probably talked about it whenever that episode came out, but whenever they were talking about whenever they straight up stole Cassian, I just glossed over that. Stole Cassian, they were like, "Oh, the troopers are gonna get him. They're gonna kill him." It's like, I mean, that's not what we see, especially with the Clone Wars. It's like, clone troopers, those are our buddies, those are our old pals, they're funny little guys. But to them, it's like, they're like, you see a clone, you're on your own. They thought they were gonna like, they were saviors for these guys, but it's like,
she pulled an Angelina Jolie.
Well,
just snatching brown kids, you know.
Well,
Seriously,
and if
CIRICES is the funniest guest that Dyad ever had.
oh my god, keep going.
Keep
the compliments rolling in.
I'm loving
Bring
all
it
this
in.
Discussion. What if there's something written in the manifesto for Cassian, since Nemec did say that he wrote about him since he couldn't sleep?
Okay, first of all, gayest moment in Star Wars. I wrote about you last night. And you're like,
what did you write?
I just think that it's just really, really funny. But I would love to find out more about it. I mean, the episode hints at us more about like the usage of mercenaries in the rebellion. But like, I already got vibes that he was like, his interest was piqued in the previous episode, and to have him walk up and be like, "I wrote about you in my journal last night," is
my dream
just
journal.
hit different, you know.
Gayest moment in Star Wars when there are literal lesbians right there.
Yeah, second gayest is
come on.
lesbians underwater holding hands and stuff.
Which, speaking of them, was the plan always to leave Cinta there? Like,
Probably.
no one's talking about the fact that, like, Cinta's just, like, watching them leave, like, bye, guys.
That is really
gonna come back for her?
She changed into Imperial uniform. I think the plan was for her
Yeah.
to walk out of
I'm
the
like,
shop
will
door.
we see her again? Or do we
Hopefully.
think that this is just...
Her whole family was killed.
Do you think she went back in the dive suit so she could?
Maybe.
There's only a handful of possibilities, right? I'm leaning towards she also had like native themed attire hidden somewhere so she can blend with those people and try to escape. Did she kill the family? If she didn't kill them, will they? That is her, you know. How is she going to escape? Or was she like, as soon as I joined this mission, my life was forfeit, and I'm okay with that?
Yeah.
Possibly. That's sad, but possible.
It may have been like that because she was like, "Are you good?
She was a
Sure. Can we
stone
go?"
cold badass.
She's hardcore. Yeah.
Another
Cinta.
most relatable moment in Star Wars is when J-Hold's trying to put his belt on, and he's like, "Oh man, this belt shrunk. What is this?" It's like, maybe you expanded.
Yeah,
like, ow.
that's
And
called
when he's like,
being an adult during a pandemic.
and when he's like, he's an adult, he can dress himself. Now come dress me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot to look forward to in Andor with 6 more episodes coming up. This has been an absolutely fantastic discussion, guys. Now, I try to keep the podcast an hour and a half, but that's not a restriction that is for any reason. It is because, you know, we like to make it so that's easily consumable, but when it goes over, you know, we're having a good conversation. So, always appreciate it.
Stop being so cool, y'all.
Yeah, you guys raised some amazing points, and we had an awesome discussion on this episode, and can't wait to have you guys on for the watch party. Abby, if you ever feel like becoming a monster and staying up at 3 a.m., you're more than welcome to join us.
I will let you know. I would be happy to.
But now it is time for us to shift gears and go into Star Wars Pictionary. And what I'm
I
going
like to warn
Let's
people.
go.
I am a bit of an
Oh,
artist, so beware.
Thanks for being there, chat. I'm speaking directly to you, chat. I am coming in through your monitor. Thank you for being here maliciously.
All right, so the invite to the Pictionary room is on the episode thread where the video call is, if you need to know. And I will change and fix the stage.
Thank you,
so you can see
Persa.
it.
Also,
I'm shouting out my
this is a random question, but Lyris,
Yes.
if gaming keyboard, do you game? And if so, do you also stream?
Gamer by chance, incel by choice. New slogan. Actually, no. I'm really bad at video games, and I would love to be a streamer, but I get stage fright. I have so many games sitting in my library. I tried to play, I think it was Squadrons the other day, but I was really toasted, so I thought it was real. The immersion was a little too much, and I was bad at it. But if you want to add me on Steam, if you have one, and we can play video game, that would be fun. Methinks.
All right.
Oh, absolutely.
I just want to put out there. I feel like you have the energy of a streamer, and the quality with which like your skill at the video game is never the reason anyone follows a streamer.
Slay.
St. Pat yells Pictionary. Persaludo says came here to support Lyris, staying for the podcast. Thank you so much. I highly appreciate your support. And Lyris and Abby too, if you game as well. I believe we're already friends, right? AJ on Steam.
Maybe. I don't remember.
It would
Maybe
be a
your Steam
huge
enemies.
oversight if we weren't. But yeah, drop your Steams in the thread, and we'll play some games. We have Choco,
No
Star
problem.
Killer, myonlyhope, and we're waiting.
I am
for
also
Troopy
not a
McCool.
very.
And Troopy McCool.
Don't worry about this.
What were we saying, Abby?
I'm also not very good at video games, but I mean, I'm always open to trying. I have tried Battlefront a couple times,
Wow.
but
And that's okay.
if
That's
you need to play
okay.
they're not so good at.
I'm gonna try my best here.
So when you guys do get your prompt, and it's two things to pick between what you're going to draw, make sure you pick very fast because it will pass you by pretty quickly. Ooh.
I forget how she looks.
Oh,
My brain! I can't think of the name! I can't think of the name!
Yeah.
It's close.
oh no!
How do I spell it?
Oh my god.
Oh god! I don't know.
Is this a green? Whatever.
This is Galaxy of Heroes coming in clutch.
There we go. Mommy, sorry.
Oh no!
Bruh, I can't think of her name.
I like the satisfaction on its face.
Bruh.
Oh wow.
That was Mother
Oh.
Talzin.
Oh, jeez.
Shorties like the melodies
Man.
in my head.
Oh.
Lyris, we still need to play Dead by Daylight. Says Ray.
Oh.
Hey,
We do. If you can hear the click clacking in my keyboard, that is ASMR.
It is. Yo, that Ben 10.
I'm not certain that's how that works.
Kenny got it right.
Okay, we'll do that.
I love all of the. These are all Star Wars terms, by the way.
Um,
I don't remember what they look like.
Girl.
I'm hoping you'll see who it is, and we'll understand.
Oh.
Oh.
And I realize he didn't actually have this, but that tells you who it is. But the question is,
St. Pat,
what is
Finn
that?
Rose.
what is this?
What? Oh, I thought you were just pointing to its butt. I was like,
I would not have gotten that.
I was like, wait, what?
St.
You
Pat
got
guessed
what I mean.
Finn
I
and
can't
Rose.
remember what
Was
an
it-
Orback looks like specifically.
Was it the rhino thing, or not the rhino, but the little thing?
It's from Rise of Skywalker. I can
Oh,
only think
okay.
of I can only think
you
of
have to be quick
what a
with the
father
choice.
year looks like.
Oh no, I missed my turn. I'm sorry, and I could have drawn one. I feel
If it
bad
wasn't
now.
for
I
you
wasn't paying
meddling
attention.
I said you have to pick quick.
I know, I wasn't paying attention. I was hung up on what an Orback was.
Yeah, and Abby, please join back whenever you get a chance. We missed you already.
This is a Are you on
Oh.
your drawing tablet?
Yes. Trying to remember what he looks like.
Oh, I know what he.
Yay!
Mudhorn. St. Pat, where did you get Finn and Rose, by the way?
Oh,
Because also the Orback looks like a horse.
that's really good.
This likeness is insane.
I'm so bad.
You're gonna make me take out my drawing tablet.
Yay!
It took me a second. I was like, you think the hat would have given it away?
Okay. I'm just gonna.
You having a Bob Ross moment? A little happy tree there. Okay, I misspelled that.
Go obi-wan. I like it.
Force push. What? Oh. Okay.
What? Circular hit?
It took me 47 guesses of almost the same thing. Also, really good. Old freak.
This is a specific. It's a specific. I almost said it. It's a specific one.
Bruh.
Yeah, I guessed 8 different variations before I got there.
Why was it green?
No, I thought it was blue.
You can't ask people why they're green.
St. Pat, Obi-Wan, CIRICES. Those are great answers or guesses. I was specifically drawing that scene because that's when that line is said.
That's why I was able to get there. Like, I appreciate that because I guessed every variant.
This is gonna be terrible. I'm sorry already.
We may have lost Abby due to internet. Is that Kirby?
It's Corellian. Oh,
Yeah.
oh Jesus.
This is
Um,
like a Rorschach test.
Rick, this is terrible. I don't know how I had two very bad choices of what to draw. I'm sorry. I should just
got
give
it.
up.
What was the answer?
Ebon Hawk.
Oh.
You can see it now that I say it, but there's no way I was ever gonna draw it or get anyone to it.
Okay.
Oh, we got Abby back. But what about
Welcome back.
Nicole?
Hey.
Hi. Yes, my camera died. So sorry.
Oh,
Mm,
you might have to
Get you
refresh your
back in
feed.
the call.
That oh,
um,
Let's try
that-
the loader
the guitar.
no, those were like not lines I meant to look like that. Ignore the lines. Go with another angle there. I'm so bad at drawing things.
Believe in yourself.
I got nothing.
Believe
I
in
got
yourself.
nothing.
How did
Um,
you get that?
It's like the Ebon Hawk. You'll understand. Maybe. This is the only detail that I have that I can like.
How are you guys getting this?
I put a dish on it. That's the only thing I had.
Oh my god.
Okay, hold on. Lyris has legit drawing gloves
Oh,
for
God.
compression of the other fingers. I seen it.
Oh,
Oh girl, we're going with the colors on this one.
oh.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the same. If she's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
Put those gloves on.
Um.
We're gonna get this one so fast.
Oh.
I hate being trash.
This is the glove, and it has come on.
They was that color. Also, that's really good.
Thank you. Oh, you're gonna get this so fast.
Oh,
Damn. Okay. Y'all are too talented.
Oh yeah, I got you. Don't be intimidated by me.
Just know whenever I brag about something, it's normally me being really terrible at that, and I think it's funny to like try and set people's expectations up for something good. No, we lost Abby.
No.
Bruh.
Oh no.
She saw Sabine and was like, "No, I'm good. I get it." I went before it and I was like, "No."
It was just too good.
okay.
Okay.
Boy, he's dying.
I love the YouTube chat playing along. I love seeing everybody's guesses. What the?
What in the? No. Oh.
How? Bruh.
You're in trouble, Droopy. You're in trouble. Because I can't tell you until after Choco gets it. Yeah, it's a High Republic thing.
It's a High Republic thing. You wouldn't get it.
Well, no, I'm like,
It's
I'm,
also
like,
in
trying
the
to
it's
help
also in the
too. I'm like-
comics. It's also in
Yeah,
the
I'm
comics.
like-
Star Wars 2020.
I don't mean that to be rude. I'm just like,
No, I get you.
that's why I got it, was only because Andy put the hangman thing at the top.
I thought it was a windmill up top, and I was so confused.
That's supposed to be a lens flare or something.
Which I get now.
Mhm.
Pat and Ven got it right. Or Pat guessed Cloud City at first.
Let's see here. Let's go with...
Lyrish, you're the only other person that came here with a drawing tablet. I usually don't use it.
Me and Droopy on the same wavelength.
Sauce.
What?
Yay, boys!
Oh god. Oh god.
Oh, I got it.
Oh no.
Why does he look like a cat?
Oh,
Oh,
I think oh man. Oh
Is it
no.
a
I give him a little cat mouth where he's just, meow.
Okay.
like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um
I promise not to make cat sounds anymore. I'm only just gonna say,
we don't accept that promise, though.
Okay, I apologize for this, but this is like just to, I don't know what that was. This is just to be able to figure out who it is.
Oh my god.
Like we've got like
it's like I see boobs and I see
Yup.
like
Girl.
That's all I've got. Oh,
Yay.
how do I do colors? Do I need to
I was
do
typing in
colors?
every big boobed woman I know.
Exactly. I was like Leku and breasts. That's literally all I have.
She's on my cosplay list,
Oh.
but Beku are so freaking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's
George
actually...
Lucas
Why-
approved.
Now that I know
Why
what
I
it
didn't
is.
realize there were colors, so like I could have just went with red first instead of big boobs, but I forgot there were colors.
This is a Legends character.
What he's saying is that it doesn't matter what color your skin is. As
So
long as you
true,
have
Kit.
boobs.
Exactly. I'm nothing if not a simple man. Oh,
All right,
man.
Droopy.
Pick
I'm in the
Larry's
wrong
Harry.
thing. Ah!
Ah,
I was in the wrong
Oh.
tab. I was in the wrong tab. Bruh.
I get it. You didn't want to follow up my amazing talent. I get it.
Your amazing talent.
ooh.
What?
Not to be confused with talent.
Dang it!
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you have to pick like the timer is for the entire thing.
Mm.
It's not just a pick.
Oh.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm just going to go with the silhouette.
Concrete jungle, wet dream tomato. In New York. There's nothing you can't do.
What? Oh.
Yay.
Okay.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
You guys got it right.
It's the return of the, oh wait, no wait, you're kidding. He didn't just say what I think he did he? That's a Star Wars quote, yeah. I think Vader said that.
I think that's not canon,
Yeah, let's do that color. That's not what I meant to do.
though. Okay. Guess Melu run.
I don't even know how to do this.
Yay!
orange.
Yay!
How?
Okay, we're gonna
Everybody's favorite orange character with
We're
a
gonna
beard.
Like,
we're gonna point to
following up,
this
like,
for a
what
second.
else did you say?
Everybody's
see.
favorite character.
What?
Let's see if this helps. This is just someone.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
Oh
okay.
man, I almost did that.
Okay.
Thank you, Laris, for giving me at least some sort of confirmation that it wasn't absolute trash.
Not absolute.
Oh, Frosty the
okay.
Snowman.
Hold on. Just like a.
Gotcha.
What?
It's beautiful.
Thank you, Choco. We gotta stick together, buddy. Because there's too much to contain here.
What is going on?
Look at the shape of the cloak.
I got nothing.
I see what you
shape
mean
of
with
the
the shape
cloak.
of the cloak, but I'm not.
Just a little guy.
Not clicking.
Also, Persaludos also guest
Joseph.
Vale, and that makes me so happy. Thank you. You're my favorite.
You're so close, guys. It was a specific Ewok.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if the
Oh.
cloak went over,
I couldn't remember what his cloak looked like. You're happy I gave him one.
Okay, this one's gonna suck.
I was like, how do I draw a teddy bear?
Hey, what's up, Ben Skywalker?
Um,
I'm sure you've been here, but I have not been looking at the chat.
yeah, it's been Darth Sarin.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Did I just spell it wrong? Come on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shot.
oh, I'm gonna kick myself.
Are we sure that's not the Spirited Away guy?
Oh my god, no it is.
Oh, I'm so.
I'm so confused.
I don't know what it looks like, but that's not canon, but it is there.
Ven got it right. Good job, Ven. Kenny's close.
Yeah, no, it's been saying, but I've been close. Every single guess of mine for this entire time, and I'm just not gonna get it.
Oh,
Fortress Inquisitorius. Jesus.
I was like, yep, not there.
Oh,
my
Ven
God.
was
Okay,
right on that.
All right, pick fast.
I had to do that.
Ooh, okay. We got yellow. It's Bart
Ooh.
Simpson. Small.
I was about to
come
say
on.
Bart Simpson.
Colors coming in clutch.
Yep. I went too short in my first guess, and that's why.
Me
I didn't
too.
get
Me too. I did the same thing first.
Yay! Apologies to Abby who missed some of the beginning of that, but that was still a very fun game.
That was gonna be so fun.
You're the winner in my heart, Abby.
Oh my god, thank you.
Shout out to
You guys definitely won.
Percentage-wise, absolutely. She's like, "Listen, I'm only gonna draw once, and you're all gonna get it." And we're like, "Yep."
Yep.
Shout out to Lyris for making me take out the tablet. I usually
And the gloves.
I usually don't take this stuff out for Pictionary, but there was another
We're
person
playing
who's doing
serious Pictionary.
There's
We're
competition.
playing street Pictionary.
Just reminded me of Bill
I would've brought
Murray
mine
and
out, but I have-
Kingpin.
it. Oh, bring yours out, Abby. Next time we have to have a.
I am currently. My camera is the tablet right now.
Oh.
Trusty pen. But
Oh, okay.
the phone had to do.
Well, that'd have been interesting.
Yeah, it was giving me the Uncle Phil in the pool hall. Where he's
Yes.
like, break out Lucille.
I mean, luckily, I mean, not luckily, but interestingly enough, the best drawing that I did for that was one I did on my mouse, which was General Kenobi.
It was really good.
That
Thank
was
you.
really good.
I pride myself in my mouse skills.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that when I couldn't think of how to draw a teddy bear.
It's not something
Hey,
you
I
draw
got it
a lot.
instantly.
Thanks, Choco.
You don't draw Ewoks on a daily basis, I'll tell you that much. Okay.
I also may or may not have a big charcoal drawing of Wicket to my right. Currently.
I actually made that. No.
First of all, don't pause in that type of sentence.
Wicket reveal.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's black and white charcoal on a brown piece of paper.
Okay, see, I forgot the top part,
Wow.
but the angle of I remembered the angle.
Hey, you know what? The angle of the dangle's the most important part. That's what I got.
That's what Yoda said.
Put that in your chronicles.
Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining us for the episode 96 of Dyad in the Force. Thank you to AJ, Lyris, and Abby also for being on. You guys are amazing, and this was a really great and fun episode. We'll start with outros, any final thoughts, and of course where people can find you and your socials, stuff like that. And we'll start with Abby this time.
Okay. Mostly on TikTok, myonlyhope. Instagram, myonlyhope with an extra E. YouTube, myonlyhope. I got the name too there. But yeah. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. I got a lot of insight, a lot of things to think about now, a lot of books to read, a lot of shows to watch, and I'm very excited. So thanks.
Absolutely. And we'll go with Lyris.
Thank y'all for having me. But this is not the last you see of me. I will be back. You can bet your bottom dollar. You can find me on TikTok. My username is somewhere there. Follow me, maybe. I do cosplay. You might like it, you might not. Hey, it's a hey, I forgot. What does Bobby Frick say? Something like that.
Hey!
Hey. And the last thing, witness him.
It has
That's
been
all.
witnessed.
That's all.
Wow.
I know that's what I'm taking away from all this tonight. Was that right there?
I just need okay. This is an idea for a TikTok
As of
video.
Obi-Wan.
My idea for a TikTok video for Lyris is you cut up the scene from Titanic where it's like, draw me like one of your French girls, and then he draws her and it's just and it's run.
Oh,
Absolutely well.
next Michelangelo needs
Next
to
piece
be
of work.
Thrawn and Vanto touching in the creation of man. Just
Listen,
Oh.
there's a very specific audience that would pay top dollar for that. I don't want to meet them, but I know they exist.
joke's on you. You already have.
Hey,
I wouldn't
yo.
be surprised. Oh, jeez. And AJ.
And I am AJ. I am Jedi_Starkiller pretty much everywhere. So like I said, with the exception of Twitter, but that's one Jedi Starkiller. But everywhere else you can find me, Jedi_Starkiller. Yeah, I draw. That's obviously what I do on all of my stuff.
Yes, you do. Go check out everyone's socials and follow them on everywhere. They are making content. They are awesome people. Have some awesome content and awesome cosplays. And yeah, that'll do it for this episode. Let's give a shout out to our the friends of our channel and other podcasts who are also making some great content. Fulcrum Transmissions, Star Wars podcast every Monday, Twitter and TikTok at Fulcrum Pod. The Podwans podcast live on Thursdays at 5:30 Pacific with Luke, Char, and Harith. Go follow them on their socials. House of Holocrons every Friday at 5 p.m. Central. Dex and Download on YouTube. Kessel Run Relay. Episodes at the beginning of each week. I think that's every Monday as well. TikTok and Instagram, Kessel Run Relay Pod. They're good friends, Emily, Hayden, and Liv. And then Barikwa Wookie. Beings of the Galaxy. If you don't follow Barikwa Wookie, please do. And also follow this podcast. It's a narrative podcast that is just everyday people in the galaxy of Star Wars. Twitter, beings_podcast. _gang. Calzone, good friend of the channel, streaming after this, probably streaming now.
Right now, Phasmophobia, and it's Saturdays, which means it's Squad Up Saturdays. So depending on what he's playing, people in the audience are welcome to join him on stream. Yeah, Cal's an awesome dude.
Twitch.tv/Cal4, and of course our good friend Brooke at farfarawayfactory.com, who also made the only Satil Sean t-shirt that exists, and it is in my closet. Farfarawayfactory.com and farfarawayfactory on Instagram. And then of course there is Sith Faced at Sith Faced Pod on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And More of Us is stretched. That's fine. More of Us Tuesdays on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and then Twitter, More of Us Pod. That's good friends Jamal and Young. Go check them out. And then, of course, our Dyad Squadron members, without which we could not continue to make content every week. We thank you. Choco thanks you. And yeah, the love and support is very much appreciated.
Yeah. And someone who I requested a card from, haven't got anything yet, but a friend of the channel, Suhalia, has completed the dagger earrings from the character whose name I can't remember. Pep.
The dagger earrings?
Yeah. From the Rings of Power. The dagger that is wielded, it was gifted by her brother, our elf queen.
Oh, Galadriel?
Yeah, Galadriel's dagger earrings have been completed. She makes some awesome stuff.
Nice.
And they're gorgeous.
Do they have an Instagram that you can just like verbally plug?
I would say for now, you can take a look at them on Twitter, and on Twitter it is just Suhaila. It is SUHAILA.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you guys for being on the podcast again. And I believe that is it. On to the next one.
For Light and Life.
We are all the Republic.
And using drawing pads is cheating in Pictionary. Damn.
May the force be with you always,
_gang.